Right. Good evening again, everyone, and welcome to the session, Social Media as a Tool for CBO Community Engagement, sponsored by the Sickle Cell Community Consortium for Warrior U. Again, the session is Creating Social Media Virality in the Sickle Cell Community tonight, and we are very, very happy to have Cassandra Trimnell here as our presenter. We will have this recording available on this website for the Sickle Cell Consortium, so you can access it at www.sicklecellconsortium.org. For anyone who who may want to hear this material, it will be available right after the session. So with that, I want to welcome our presenter for tonight, Cassandra Trimnell.
Hi. All right, perfect. Welcome. Thank you so much. As she said, my name is Cassandra Trimnell. Today I'm going to be speaking about creating social media virality in the sickle cell community. So let's go ahead and get started. So firstly, a little bit about me. Again, my name is Cassandra Trimnell. I'm executive director of a nonprofit organization called Sickle Cell 101. And Sickle Cell 101 specializes and emphasizes in sickle cell education primarily through the use of social media. So our two targeted audiences are the sickle cell community, which is comprised of patients, caregivers, healthcare providers, all stakeholders, and then the general audience. Our goal is to be able to provide patients and caregivers with the vital information that they need to be able to better manage the disease and also sickle cell trait. I am also a sickle cell warrior. I live with sickle cell disease, hemoglobin SS, and I have a 3-year-old daughter who, of course, has the trait AS. A fun fact about me is that I love to travel. My favorite thing to do is to travel to countries that I've never been to and learn as much as I can about their culture. And of course, after seeing the Black Panther movie, I self-identify as a citizen from Wakanda. And I'm hoping in this presentation you're going to get to learn a little bit more about me through the use of viral material. So what exactly is social media virality? What does it mean to go viral? So although it's based off of the medical term virus, it has nothing to do with it. According to Google, according to Google, virality is defined as the tendency of an image, video, or piece of information to be circulated rapidly and widely from one internet user to another. Another definition that the internet provides, according to dictionary.com, just so that we have all of our bases covered, is becoming very popular by circulating quickly from person to person, especially through the internet. So we're going to be talking about a combination of viral and popular content that a large amount of people can relate to. So this image entitled Tornado Lawnmower Dad went viral last year. So the story behind it is this Canadian dad made the headlines for this photo that showed him hard at work while there's a tornado looming in the horizon, and he stated that the tornado was far enough away and that he was keeping his eye on it. So because this photo invoked a whole bunch of emotions like, surprise, shock, this photo went viral. And with all photos that go viral, it became the base of a variety of memes, as you can see on the right. So this next slide is a video, which I'm unsure. I'm not sure if there's a way to play this video.
Cassandra, if you click it, I believe it will open the YouTube video.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not able to click it. but maybe I can describe it. So this video is a video that went viral. I'm sure many of you have seen it. Um, it is of a kitten being tickled and throwing its paws up in the hand. So, some background: in October of 2009, there was a YouTuber named Raza Fly. She uploaded this video of her friend's 6 to 10 week kitten named Attila Fluff being tickled repeatedly. And within 2 weeks, the video had over 7 million views, and to date, it has accumulated over 78 million views. So some of you may recognize this next photo as the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. Oh, it looks like if I can go back quickly, I can play the video quickly. Let's see what happens here. I'm not sure if you guys can see it. Were you guys able to see that? I hope so. Oh, not displaying. Okay, so everybody will have to click it themselves. That's fine. Can you all still see my screen?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. All right. So for some reason I lost my presentation. Here we are. Okay.
Well, what I see is the surprised kitty. Okay, it just switched to ALS Ice Bucket.
Perfect. Thank you. Sorry about that. So you may recognize this photo. Is the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. For those who don't know, the Ice Bucket Challenge involved dumping a bucket of ice and water over a person's head to promote awareness of the disease ALS and to encourage donations and research. And it went viral on social media in the summer of 2014. So ultimately, the association behind the challenge ended up raising $115 million for research. And this challenge got Americans engaging with each other for a good cause. So this leads us to a question: how do we create virality? How do we get people to like, comment, share, and interact with the content that we create? So the answer: there is no specific recipe or formula to make things go viral. If that were the case, then anybody would be able to make any material go viral at any time. However, there are specific themes that are found in all viral material. So we're going to go over each of those themes. So according to BuzzFeed's publisher, Downwind, there are 5 components within their cultural cartography that make something popular or make something go viral. So these 5 components can almost always be found in material that have gone viral. They are humor, identity, connection, self-help, and emotion. And they are found singularly, and they're found also in combinations. So we're going to go ahead and go into each theme. So the first is humor. It's obvious that what this theme is about. It's about making you laugh or making you smile, something incredibly funny. And this can be any type of humor, but I personally think the humor or the more relatable humor is, the funnier it is. And so humor is important because it releases, the endorphins or the feel-good brain chemicals, which makes this theme very popular. A lot of viral content that you'll see online is usually has an aspect of humor in it because people love to laugh. So the next theme that we have is identity. So this is the content that makes you feel relatable. or the content is relatable to you. It feels like sometimes somebody took the thoughts right out of your head or the words right out of your mouth. For example, if you've ever shared a post with someone and you left in the caption, "This is so me," that's identity. So when identity is paired with a humor, you get something like this. At least I do. So this theme is using an image that went viral. So the meme reads, "When you grab the McDonald's and eat a little bit out of everybody's fries, then take the one you didn't touch." So I chose this theme because I can relate and because I'm guilty of this. Um, the reason I am not ashamed to tell you all, because there are almost, as you can see, 50,000 people who can also relate to this as well. So there. So the third theme is connection. This one is also an important theme because it brings a second person or people and identifies the type of relationship or bond you have with someone. So in our line of work, Sickle Cell 101, this theme is important because it brings people within the sickle cell community together in some type of way. So I picked out this meme because I am one of 6 siblings, including me. There are 5 of us girls. And this meme reads, "When you're excited to finally see your sister and then you realize she's wearing your clothes." So I can't tell you how often this happens to me. And I've labeled this theme as connection, but as soon as I saw it, I sent it to my other sisters, which started, this debate back and forth between us girls. So this meme is so very precisely describes, our bond or my bond with my sisters down to the facial expression on Northwest's face. So this theme can also be described as humor and identity. The fourth theme is self-help. This theme helps you reflect on yourself or helps you reflect on others. It initiates self-discovery. So, this can lead to possibly sharing your story with the world or with others who are really important to you. And an example of self-help are content are content that have the quote posts. So this quote is a popular one on the internet. Some of you may have seen it. It's a famous quote by Eleanor Roosevelt, and it reads, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." So I found a whole bunch of reading the captions, from those who posted this. I found a sample caption that kind of, I guess, mirrors the theme of self-help. It reads, "This is so true. I might add, people who try to make you feel like they're not worth having you in your life. Sometimes it takes a long time to realize that, but once you do, it can be major life changer." So this is, of course, a reflective type of quote. And last but not least is the theme emotion. And I think this is one of the more powerful themes. This theme makes you feel something, whether it be good or bad. It's powerful because, if it's strong enough, it can invoke action. And so, this theme often sometimes carries outside the realm of social media and into real life. So I have another video here. Um, so this I will go ahead and describe it. This slide is a video that makes you feel an array of emotions. It is circulating around social media, but for those, so we can't view this video, but the video is of a cop that finds a pregnant mom and her toddler laid across her chest, and She has fallen asleep on the sidewalk. And he helped raise funds for her and her children and helps them find a place to live. So it's a really touching video. I think videos like these are important, especially because this day and age, it restores people's faith in humanity. So these are the 5 themes that you can find in content that goes viral on social media. If you have one or multiple themes within your content, with the right exposures or the right tools, you can get your content in front of a large audience. There is also one more important component that ties in with the connection, and that's one that I'd like to discuss. So that theme is engagement. As I mentioned before, engagement is very important in the work we do with Sickle Cell 101. To give you some context, I grew up in Iowa, so as you can imagine, I didn't come in contact with too many other sickle cell patients. It was me and then my way younger sister and then another girl who eventually ended up moving away. So back in my day, I didn't have access to, social media platforms and access to connect with others living with sickle cell disease like me, and today we do. So today, most of my friends with sickle cell disease are people I've met online. And, with our organization, we want to be able to provide a platform in which, others who may not have access to other warriors are able to connect. So we do this through our social media posts by allowing patients to voice their thoughts and opinions. And so these posts are engaging, and we see friendships that form in the comment sections below our posts. And so you can do this by engaging your targeted audience. So this leads us to identifying your audience. So what do you want, or who do you want to access your content on social media? Is it a specific audience, or is it a broad audience? Another thing to consider is, what does your audience have in common? So using these commonalities will help you create engaging material. So as I stated, in order to create content that is relatable or that will invoke, one or more of these components, you have to know your audience. So our organization, in particular, has evolved in a way where we're able to cater to our audience better. Thus, content that we provide is better received. So you can start by identifying your audience through demographics, and so important questions to ask yourself are, which populations in which locations are you trying to target, or what age group do you want to target? What platform do you want to use for this age group? It's common knowledge that particular age groups use particular platforms. So, for example, teens and young adults use Snapchats while older populations use Facebook. Another question to ask, are you targeting women? Are you targeting men? Or both? Are you targeting patients, caregivers, health professionals, or other stakeholders within the sickle cell community? And identifying these demographics will help give you a sense of what material to present to your targeted audience. So after you've built an audience, to promote engagement and to continue followership, you have to be able to listen to your audience. So oftentimes your audience will kind of tell you what they want. This means, reading comments, asking about content, identifying content that works well and that doesn't work well. And then, like I said, your audience will help you determine which content works and what content doesn't work. So earlier in the presentation, I mentioned tools. The first tools going into that, the first tools that I will mention are hashtags and tags. So with Sickle Cell 101, you will find that a majority of, if not all of our posts, will have the hashtag sickle cell, so that if a person types in sickle cell, they'll find our content immediately. So I always tell people using hashtags is the way people find you. If you don't use them, it's harder for people to find your information that you're providing. Um, Tagging other relevant accounts, like other CBOs or other sickle cell organizations, or creating also help create more exposures for your content. I know, if we want to get a word out about something that we're doing, we do tag other sickle cell CBOs, and sometimes they help repost. And if you're lucky, a celebrity or a tastemaker will also notice your content and give you the boost it needs to be able to start down a viral path. So, Sickle Cell 101 uses social media analytics, which are often built within the platform. So, we use it to know how we are reaching, how many people we're reaching, how popular our content is. And our top 3 accounts are Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Sorry, I'm lagging on the slide here. So our top 3 accounts are Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and each has its own analytics or insights section where you can learn more about your audience and what they like. So we're going to go over what these analytics look like. So if you have a Facebook page for your organization, you can find Facebook Insights under the Page tab. And then under that Page tab, you'll find the Insights tab. And for more information on the posts or the content, click on the post and select which post you'd like to see the analytics for. So this is kind of what it looks like when you select a post. And so here we have an example of one of Sickle Cell 101's awareness posts. As you can see, there's a breakdown in the number of likes, the number of comments, shares, etc. The number that's most important to us is the people reached. So as you can see, this particular post reached 21,000 people. This is because we achieved 528 shares. So in other words, this post reached the Facebook friends of 520 accounts. That makes sense. The theme I would identify for this post would be identity and connections. Identity because, there were a lot of people living with the disease who, encourage sickle cell awareness and celebrate Sickle Cell Awareness Month. And then also connections. A lot of people were sharing this with others and, pulling them in to join the cause. So on Instagram, Sickle Cell 101's most popular post was actually a Black History Month post that we posted a couple weeks ago honoring Paul Williams of the Temptations. The viral things I would identify for this post would be, emotions, just because of what the content says. A lot of people could relate to the content, identity, and then also connection. So the results for this post achieved 922 likes, 34 comments. Many of the comments were just in disbelief over the fact that Paul lived with sickle cell disease. A lot of people didn't know. And then 65 saves. So this post ended up reaching 5,433 users. And lastly is our Twitter analytics. And this post was actually in collaboration with Be the Match. It tells the story of a sickle cell warrior who was cured through bone marrow transplant. So this campaign was a campaign that we did for World Sickle Cell Day last year. So here, Twitter analytics are a little bit different. Here, Twitter identifies impressions, which is the number of times a user saw a tweet. Engagement means the number of times a user interacted with our particular tweet. So this includes likes, retweets, follows, clicks, hashtags, etc. So this post gained over 4,000 impressions and then 135 engagements. So these statistics or analytics or insights, they're called different things on different platforms. They do provide information about your audience and how they feel about the content that you provide. So if you have insights that are, on the lower side, or, you create a goal and, you can always check back to see if you've met that goal and you're reaching the amount of people that you want to reach. So the last part of my presentation, I am going to use a campaign that I co-led with some other sickle cell advocates to achieve virality. This campaign was called the Speak on Sickle Cell Obama Twitter campaign, and I believe it was a couple of years ago that we did this. So fellow advocate TJ Brown and Najam Leem and myself had the goal to make sickle cell go viral and trend on Twitter. So we did this through the use of the hashtag #SpeakOnSickleCellObama. And our goal was to raise awareness, but it was also to get President Obama to mention sickle cell on World Sickle Cell Day, which is June 19th. So we were able to get Obama. So we were not able to get Obama to mention sickle cell on World Sickle Cell Day, but what we did do was reach over 3 million people on Twitter with the hashtag, and we also got the hashtag trending several times on Twitter. So the Speak on Sickle Cell Obama hashtag was one of the highest tagged hashtags at the time geared towards President Obama's Twitter account. How were we able to achieve this? We were able to do this. We rallied multiple organizations and advocates globally to join the cause. We gained participants through, content that we wanted to share with them. So we used those themes, including, self-help, connection, emotion, and identity. We used all of those themes to appeal to, to those who wanted to participate and, to join the cause. With this hashtag, we tagged other relevant politicians, we tagged celebrities, which gave it a lot more visibility. And many of these public figures actually reposted our content, showing their support. So in the end, the hashtag Speak on Sickle Cell Obama was tweeted about almost 11,000 times. And I just like using this as a case study because it shows that, we as a sickle cell community can come together, we can create waves and gain a bigger audience. So in summary, if you produce good content, it will reach places, I guess, that you've never dreamt of. So that about wraps things up. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my presentation. I wanted to allot time for questions, so I believe there's enough time to take questions.
Thank you so much, Cassandra. That was fantastic. I remember and being very impressed by the work that you all did with Speak on Sickle Cell Obama, SOS Obama. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? We do have a little bit more time and the work that went into it and the results that came out of it.
Yeah, it's very impressive. Very cool.
Yeah, sure. So with this campaign, I like I said, I got together with two other advocates from the community, and I think what made it as successful was being able to we pre-created content that everybody could relate to. So, we would put out awareness facts like 1 in 12 African Americans live with sickle cell disease. We put out emotional tweets like talking about mistreatment within the ER, and so we put out a lot of content that everybody could relate to in some way, shape, or form, and that I think was why we were able to get people backing this this Twitter campaign. And so we were on Twitter for a good amount of days. It was kind of making sure people kept tweeting, posting out about our efforts, and really just connecting with people and having them I guess recruit people, and showing them just the importance of this cause. It really helped. And so, like I said, we reached out to other organizations, because I believe, within the sickle cell community, there's power in numbers, and it's hard to do things alone, and the sickle cell community is, a force on its own. And so I know if we can, get the numbers and all rally together, we can achieve stuff. So, I'm not sure if that answers your question, but that's pretty much what we did. We created goals. We determined our success rate. We said if we got 10,000 tweets for this campaign, we would say that we were successful in our endeavors. It wasn't our intent to reach 3 million people, but because everybody could identify and everybody could relate to the content that we were putting out, and everybody wanted it as much as we did. I feel like we were able to achieve just the trending status on Twitter, and then also reach 3 million people. So I hope that answers the question.
It does. That's fantastic, Hess. That it really is. We do have a few minutes for a few other questions. If anybody online now has any questions, I did see a couple of things come into the chat room.
Okay.
There was someone mentioned that sometimes what we want is a broad audience, and we want to target the sickle cell community on social media broadly. And then a comment came through just saying thank you to you for the work that you've done in here. So you mentioned that it was important to identify the audience. And I suppose even though we consider it broadly within our independent community, in reality, the sickle cell community is actually a very niche, sort of small community. Do you have any thoughts on how to target this group specifically and the best way to ensure that the work we're doing is being seen by those that need to see it?
Right. I think that's where hashtags come in. I know when we first started out, what we did is we'd go under the hashtag sickle cell, and we'd see, who our audience was. And so we found out that, majority of our audience were women. And then, of course, we identified, just the age groups per platform, that were accessing our information. There's some content that works better on Instagram versus Facebook. We find that Instagram, we just keep it pretty short and succinct, whereas Facebook, we're able to elaborate on content that we provide, and we're able to share articles, and people appreciate that. So but yeah, just starting out and identifying the sickle cell audience, using or finding and using relevant hashtags such as sickle cell anemia, team sickle cell is one of them. Sickle cell awareness we use as well, and then knowing our audience, we were able to find out which countries our users, or where our followers are coming from, so we would use that as a hashtag. For example, after the US, the UK would be our second largest amount of followers, and then it would be Nigeria after that. So using the hashtag Nigeria or using the hashtag Africa to find people and kind of bring them in, and so that your content is viewable by those people. So it is, since you said it is, it is pretty niche, but if you use hashtags correctly, you can find the right people. We've even gone as far as because our majority of our following is women who are African American. We found other platforms where other big platforms that have African American women, such as the Essence Instagram page, or I'm blanking out on some of them, but or going under the hashtag Black Girl Magic, and so we were able to find people that way as well. So it's, you kind of have to get creative. You have to really just look at your audience and see, what is my audience, who are they, and what do they like, and then kind of use that information to find even more people. So
that sounds like fantastic strategy, and I don't think that's something that we often consider, some of these ways of coming at the problem sideways by identifying parallel groups and hashtags. I'm also not certain that we all have a good understanding of the most effective way to even use a hashtag. I think that's something I'd like to explore with you a little bit, again, further, to make sure that we're training our people how to use these things effectively. Are there any other questions?
Well, just a quick comment. The information that you've given is actually amazing, Cassandra. The use of hashtags in Twitter and the use of mentions can also help you spread a message. So finding influencers and finding people who are sensitive to your cause or sympathetic to your cause, and mentioning them in tweets is a good way to get exposure to them and to their network of followers. So yeah, I mean, the information you presented is incredible. Thank you, Cassandra.
Oh, no problem. And yeah, like as you were saying, Kia, hashtags, they can get tricky, but if you can use the right ones, and using a hashtag, for example, we have content, instead of typing a regular word that we know would bring people in, we would just put a hashtag in front of it and make it searchable. So, if a post says something about, blood disorder, we would hashtag blood disorder within the sentence. And so those who are looking for blood disorder will also find our content. So you definitely have to get creative, but it's definitely possible.
Fantastic. Thank you, Cassandra. So I think that unless there are any other questions, we're going to go back to Pat as we wrap up. Thank you very, very much for presenting this information for us. And Pat will give the last announcement.
Yeah, thank you very much, Cassandra. Very, very informative. So, and thank you to everyone who joined the session tonight. This was Creating Social Media Virality in the Sickle Cell Community. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the session, this information will be available tonight on the website for the Sickle Cell Consortium at www.sicklecellconsortium.org. That's www.sicklecellconsortium.org. If you go to the website and look under About SCD or About the Consortium, you'll see a link to Warrior U and the series for this that contains this session and all the other sessions that have taken place so far, as well as descriptions of upcoming sessions. So lots of information on the website, including the content for past sessions. So please go to the website. If you want someone to get this information that wasn't able to attend or couldn't be here for one of the other sessions, they can go and literally go through every single session there on the website. So if there's nothing else, thanks again to everyone who's joined, and thank you, Cassandra, for presenting such amazing information.
Oh, thank you for having me.
All right, good night, everyone. Have a good evening.
Good night.
Good evening. Goodbye. Good night.
Goodbye.